I know you don't care that much. Listen to this, listen. You know what that is?
COVID-19.
COVID. Can you believe I still got COVID after the last time? It's 3 months, in case anybody cares. Does anybody care?
No.
You don't give a shit, do you? I knew it. Nobody cares. And, oh, sorry, Mir Brummer. Siye, touché, I am here. You all okay? Bonjour, bonsoir, guten Tag. Chihuahua. For those viewers in China, I don't know. Do we have any Albanians in China, do you know? There must be. How do we think COVID got here? They brought it back from Xinwenha. That's what happened. Anyway, actually, for the first time, I actually feel a bit lucky I'm here, because you know the problems with travelling with COVID at the moment. Before you get on a plane, you've got paperwork to fill out all day. Where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you visiting? What are you doing there? And when you get there, you do another test. And we did have a bit of an incident, actually. I did get into Kosovo once without a COVID test. This is true. We actually got to the border. And they stopped me because I didn't have the COVID test. And I was with my good friend Naim. And the custom guy said, just pull in over there. Okay. 5 minutes later, there's no sign of anybody. Naim, hi there, just go. So we took off. Actually, I wasn't going to tell this story, but it's just come to my head. Going back to Macedonia 2 weeks later, got to the airport, and because I hadn't had a COVID test, they wouldn't let me on the plane. So we had to come back to Kosovo, and Naim said to me, we don't have a COVID test to get back in. I said, oh God, let's try and wing it. So we get to the border, and the guy looks at the passports, and he looks inside the car. Ah, Mr. Fox, you tried to run away 2 weeks ago. Yes. And that's true. But listen, travelling, as you know now, is really complex, and they want everything. But you know, what bothers me isn't the actual COVID nor the paperwork. I can deal with that. What really bothers me is actually sitting on the plane on the tarmac. You know when you're waiting for the thing to take off and you sit. And I always have the same routine. I fly first class on Wizz Air and EasyJet. Basically, you get.
Oh God.
I'm trying to be posh here. Hey, listen, talking about posh, you will notice we have provided for you today some drinks, some crisps and some peanuts. Just make sure that the person next to you hasn't just been to the toilet when you put these things. Just saying, that's all. Anyway, so the bit that bothers me is the sitting on the runway. And I'm in my first class. And the air stewardess always comes up, and they always say the same thing. If anybody's been first class on Wizz Air, you'll know. The air stewardess comes up, it's always an East European, very strong sounding. She always says, excuse me, sir, would you be prepared to help in the case of an emergency? Yeah, sure. And then she goes off, and I always do the same thing, it winds them up. Excuse me. What is it exactly you'd like me to do in the case of an emergency if a plane's coming down at 600 miles an hour? I mean, I'll start the screaming if you want. No! I mean, what do they expect you to do? But it's the beginning bit that gets me, because you're sitting there in your seat, and then you hear this voice. This is your captain speaking, and welcome to flight WW792 to Yarımjari Pristina Airport. The cabin crew will now go over the safety features on this aircraft, the A380. Safety features? Safety? When was the last time you got in a taxi and the taxi driver said, I'd just like to point out the safety features of this Skoda? So if we hit a wall at 90 miles an hour, you're going to be dead. Isn't it the same on a plane? So they start with the safety procedures. And this is where the theatre starts, because you've got this little voice on, and you'll notice by the side of you is your seatbelt. And then the air hostess stands there and she says, and you will notice if there is a loss of cabin pressure, you will notice above your head is an oxygen mask, which will fall from the overhead compartment. Now, they don't tell tell you any of this when you book your ticket. They don't say, you are going to have to learn how to survive. I think my favourite bit is when they stand and they say, you'll notice there are 6 emergency exits. I'll tell you what an emergency exit is. An emergency exit means you are going to crash. There is another way. It's not an emergency exit. You're going to die. That's what's going to happen. And the air's just... And there are 2 emergency exits at the sides. And hang on, that's me. I'm sitting here. I see what's going to happen now. I know what's going to happen. When they say, brace, 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 they're all going to run to my exit door and kill me. I figured out I will actually be dead before... But what do they expect you to do when a plane is coming down at 600 miles an hour? Oh, the final bit. It's my favourite bit. And for your convenience, under your seat is a life jacket. Oh, and then the theatre starts again. And they tell you, don't blow your life jacket up inside the plane. So, presumably, when the plane lands in the Indian Ocean or somewhere, and it breaks into 1,000 pieces, you're fine, you've got a life jacket on. But then they say, and in case of an emergency, you have a whistle. Oh, what to call the sharks? Oh, Sharky, we're over here. And then, do you know what they say then? You couldn't make this up. And have a nice flight. We're going to have a great flight. Oh, here we go again. I know the routine now. It's not the police. Oh, look out. Oh.
Hot.
Let's check, because you'll have to sit 2 metres away. Hang on. 39.8.
Get out.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't believe this. Is this fake or what?
Have you come to give me a haircut? Is that what you're here? Have you set him up to give me a haircut?
You definitely need it.
I've looked once.
You need one.
Listen, be very careful on that seat. Don't lean back. Don't lean too much to the right or too much to the left. Can we see Armand? Is he high enough? Do we need to see more of him? Because you're a nice-looking guy.
Hi?
I mean, yeah, just pull the lever. That's it. How do you feel? Listen, we've got a selection of drinks here. We've got Van Bar. We can do this in Albanian if you feel more comfortable.
No, we can do it in English.
You sure?
It was my dream to have an interview in English since I grew up with the language.
Well, I can tell you now, you're not getting in Albanian. That's not going to happen.
This was one of the reasons why I wanted to be in the show.
Oh, well, what can I offer you? Can I offer you a Van Barda, Van Kuche, glass of water?
A white one, please.
Do you know, I think we'll both have a glass of... This is warm. Somebody been sitting on... I don't
Then
believe...
we'll just take the red one.
Armand, I apologise. This is going to be a warm white wine. Do you know, I had a little chat with some of this riffraff here. By the way, this is not a nice audience. Don't expect them to get on this side. So, I asked a few questions. And I asked them, what is it you want to know from a hairdresser?
Oh, gosh.
It's only one thing. They want to know who's fucking who in the zoo. Because, let's face it, hairdressers, right? Hairdressers know everything. You know who's with who.
No.
Are you allowed to spill any dirt? You can't tell us anything. Obviously, you can't say anything about Albin. I know he's your...
Hey.
Oh, no,
Let's not go there.
No. Gazur, before we spill
years.
the beans, before we wreck your career on this.
It's not that
Bloody
bad.
warm. It's warm. Anyway, so look, I was reading your little biog. So it tells me that you were born in Brisbane.
No, born in Pristina. And
You told me you were born in Brisbane.
No. I was born
in Pristina.
Yeah, and then left in the early 90s.
Went to Australia.
To Germany.
And do you know what?
I think you were drunk when you read the bio.
I'll be honest. I skipped 15 years of your life because I came to the bit where it said Peru.
Oh, yeah.
What were you doing in Peru? And be honest. Did you go there? Did you go there for a reason?
I was traveling. I wanted to see Machu Picchu.
Oh, did you do the walk?
Yeah, I did the four-day walk, which was quite tough back in 2005 because I wasn't really prepared for the four. I mean, when we booked, it was 4 days, but we're like, oh, we'll probably just take a cab or something, but it wasn't the case.
A cab? The Machu Picchu?
And you can take the train nowadays, but back then, yeah, you can take the train overnight, which will take you from Cusco to Machu Picchu. But we did the walk, which was amazing. But the thing with Machu Picchu is you go and you experience this whole thing, and then you leave, and then you value what you've done, and it changes your life. It changes your life. But when you're there, like especially for normal people like me and you do the 4-day walk.
Me, normal? I don't think you're in the right place.
Fitness level I'm talking about.
A bit tight, this one.
So when you do the whole walk, you'll be glad you're done. Once you get up there, which is at 3 in the morning.
Is it really hard work, seriously? Because my friend reckons he trained for 6 months to do this.
No.
He doesn't need to do that.
It's not.
He's full of shit anyway, my friend.
No. You probably need it.
You're not been on a diet, it's not working.
Because we, especially nowadays, we live, we shower twice a day or, whatever. There, you can't. For 4 days, you'll just be walking. So there's a few things that, you will miss. And by the time you get there, you just want to leave. Because you're just
tired. This is the real simple life, isn't it? I mean, there's got to be an advantage to that. At the moment, our whole lives, certainly for the young people, they're controlled by Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. Everything's instant.
Yeah.
And I know, one of our friends has just come back from Kathmandu. It's basic, but there is something to a really simple life. They don't have to worry about chasing the job and being somewhere on time. It's a really nice, laid-back little place. Yeah. But did you get that feeling there? Do you think you could have abandoned?
I have to say, at 24, when I did the thing, it was hard to judge. But it was amazing to see those guys carrying our bags. Like, they carry like...
Well, you didn't carry your own bags?
Well, we'd carry the small one, but the actual food and the rest that they will... Because they cook for you on the way there, And then they carry this 1-ton bags, those little people.
So hang on a second, you're just having a nice little walk.
You walk...
and you've got these other little guys going...
Exactly. And they...
50 kilos on.
You know what the funny thing is?
I know that.
The funny thing is that we get up and we do the walk and we complain and then we get there and then they pack in the back. They do all the packing of your shelter and everything, and then they catch on you, and then they just completely just pass on you and they're runing with those bags.
Super fit lunatics,
amazing.
Aren't they?
I mean, it's an experience on itself.
But you're not going to swap hairdressing for a life living on a mountain. But listen, you know what? Talking about hairdressing, I want to talk about some of the finer details. And man, I want to show you some hairdressing techniques that I've learned myself. Okay?
I heard you're
Over the
great.
years, I'm an excellent hairdresser.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to find out shortly. But if you can all part ways a second, I just want to show you some of the techniques. If our man can actually get in there and switch them on. Have a look at this, girls, because Armand and I are going to offer you a chance to have a haircut like this. Let's have a look at it. Stand back, girls. Just stand aside from the screen. Have a look at this. See what you think of this, Armand.
A la vez. ¿Y cómo se puede hacer eso? ¿Cómo puedes cortar dos lados a la vez?
Talk about a hot hairdo.
This is insane.
Just on here.
What the
This is pain.
That is
to me,
pain.
this is pain.
I mean, look, what is there anything in that technique that says, I am a superb hairdresser because I can set your entire head of hair on
This is
fire?
the opposite. What happens is unsuccessful people need to do something stupid in order to take the awareness.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
This is exactly that. And especially because you don't need to discover nowadays anything. Things have been done for years.
But I don't honestly think, would anybody in here have their hair set on fire by Armend to see if the cut's any better? Would anybody really do that?
No, never.
I bet we'll find somebody. But listen, let's talk about your clients, because you've got some posh clients. And honestly, these people, they did want to know who's who in the zoo, who's seeing who, what's happening in there. But let's talk
What happens in the salon stays in the salon. Sorry to disappoint you guys,
that's a shame, but hey,
that's why I have a successful business, 20 years.
Well, you got
Otherwise, if I would be talking and doing all this stuff,
but
going back to Australia and start off fresh.
Posh clients. You have been, and I think I'm going to back him on this, attributed for making Albin Kurti look like a shaggy cartoon into somebody that's actually, he looks quite smooth now. I should be careful.
It was a mission. Yeah, be careful.
Hey, you know what? I'll be honest, you've done a great job. Doesn't he look better now, Albin Kurti? He looks better.
It took me a while.
Did you have to convince him?
Well,
Did you say, Albin, you look like a bag of cement at the moment. You've got to do something with you.
Yeah,
Did you have to persuade him?
I have to say, he's the most demanding client that I have.
Never.
People will not believe this, but this guy knows what he wants. I'll give you a hint of, first time I cut his hair, we were at the first haircut, he wouldn't say much, and I was doing my point. We talked about Vidal Sassoon.
Oh, yeah. I used to work with Vidal.
Yeah, the point cutting techniques, which was never done here, and especially with him, because he was getting a haircut down from the street. And the funny thing that he was...
a barber? Did he just...
Yeah, he probably went just down the road. Anyhow, and he would say much, but the next time he came, he did his research, and he was obviously researching at what I was doing, and he said, oh, remember that thing you did with this? Now I know why. It's called this and this and this, and this is what it does.
You are kidding.
I'm not going to...
He's learning our techniques. Did you give him one of those jobs?
Yeah, the point cutting.
Never.
Yeah. Well, I had to, because he has got all this bush in his head. And
has he got hairy chest?
I have to say, I've done so many people's hair, Australia, America, London. I've never had a person come in, see what I did, don't ask me, because he wouldn't ask, so he would go home and does his research and learn about it. And obviously seen videos, and because you have to compare things.
Yeah.
And then he came in and told me what I was doing. Not obviously in detail, but he knew why I did this and that. Amazing. I mean,
he's scary. You see, it's a typical mathematician. He's a typical scientist. He wants to know how it's all going to happen.
But he's softening up.
Do you know what terrifies me about Australia?
What?
Insects. Snakes. I am terrified of snakes. I said this before. Give me a lion, a tiger.
Yeah, right.
Just don't. But Australia is famous for is it the brownback?
The redback.
Oh, and what about the brownback?
No, there's no brownback. Okay.
What about the ringback?
No, it's a redback. It's a black spider, which is quite small, by the way. It's hard to find, but they tend to stay in really dark, dry places.
That's
like
in
my
bedroom.
Shed. No, they will not get in your house unless you have.
Are you sure?
No, sure.
I've seen videos when you see snakes.
I lived over 10 years. Oh, come on, that can happen even here.
What snakes? Snakes
where
here?
Are we
We're in the middle of nowhere. This show only gets broadcast at the end of the street, that's it. So you can say what you want about the guest. Nobody's ever going to know. And this lot, look at their faces. They're not going to say anything. They're nice, kind people, you know? So, you know, I've been invited to Australia every year by friends, and I'm terrified of going. I honestly don't want to come across a snake in a house. Because
you won't.
I'll run to
the airport. I lived in Queensland, which is much more tropical and much more to that, you know, jungle feel. And
you never
I have to say to you, in 10 years that I spent there, I've never had an issue with us. You know, you'd see a huge spider, and they're like, oh, it's harmless, and they will just grab it.
Oh my God. Oh no!
It's not that bad.
Do you know,
it's common sense in the nature. The danger animals, they tend to go out in the wild. They won't stay near the house.
Yeah, but everything that can kill you lives in Australia. When I looked at the top 10 things, it said tapai, deadly. And then you get another one, schmutzy putzy wingback. Second deadliest.
The only thing that I would suggest to someone, because that's something you wouldn't even know and you'll be dead in no time, is the jellyfish. If you were to swim in the northern Queensland,
well, I'm not.
in the sea,
well, I'm not.
And the funny thing is, you would see those beaches, and I almost did this.
There's what?
The beaches.
Oh, the beaches. My ears.
You know what it says? A dirty mind.
That's what I hope.
A dirty mind.
Okay, the beaches.
The beaches.
I've seen these videos, though, of these people in houses. Have you seen these in Australia? And they're looking in the kitchen for something, and suddenly they pull something, and they pull out this snake. No, they pull out a snake that's like 10 metres long. And they think it's normal. I don't think Australians are normal, you know. That's why you came back here.
Australians are definitely not normal.
No, I know that.
They're not normal, but it doesn't happen.
This is what I said. They just start making a noise amongst themselves.
We're not interesting enough.
No.
Okay, we should make a scene.
I'll tell you, we're going to make them interesting in a minute. Do you know what I want to do?
All right.
You and me, haircut challenge. What about that? We find 2 willing participants. We'll have a race. See who can cut them.
I'll give
and I'll tell you what, I've got a feeling I can go really fast. No, really. Do you know what? Have we got some hairdressing stuff here?
Yeah.
We have. Do you know what? Shall we have a challenge?
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are going to... Hang on a second, before we do this. We got a couple of guys here. Hang on. Oi! You with a funny looking nose. We'll have you. What about your mate? Because he's no good, he's half bald. The guy with the Elvis Presley thing.
Oh, yeah.
Will you come forward? Listen, we're going to move our chairs forward. Let's get ready to have a race, okay? Hang on. Don't start stealing my things.
Right.
You've got your own stuff. Right, okay. Are we ready? Go. Okay.
All right, I'm done.
I think there's a bit too much there. Here, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Hang on a second. I know how to sort this out.
Why me?
Got it all a little bit back here.
That's typical English. When they can't beat you, they have to use a dodgy way to slow you down. Just leave it. That is.
Hang on a minute. What are you putting your hair into?
He wants to blind you.
Just a minute. Hang on. Just wait. This is a 1950s English pub.
Almost taking out children here in the world.
Fucking hell. I'm done. How you doing? Be honest.
It was the worst haircut I've ever.
No, it's not.
It was the
I
worst.
absolutely
You
refuse
did to the poor
Go
guy.
into your head now. Give me
The
that. Give me your head again.
gel.
Come on.
And then you're trying to blind my client?
I did not blind him. I added. You were supposed to do his beard in that 5 minutes.
I wasn't supposed to do
Where is he?
nothing. I was
Is he
just
still here?
He's gone
Has he
crying.
left?
He's gone home crying.
I actually thought I did a
The
good
guy
job.
probably can't see anymore.
Did he beat me?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. All right. All of those of you...
I was
Wait, let's-
slowing down. I had to
Hang on.
go like this.
Wait a minute.
You know,
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. If you can do it in 5 minutes, why do we get charged for 20 when we go to the hairdressers? It's the con. They're conning us. They do it in 20 minutes and...
Because of the wine,
Oh,
the
yeah.
espresso,
Okay.
the massages.
I'll tell you what, let's put it to the vote. All those who thought Armend's haircut was better, all go, yeah! demonstrates, they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Now,
True.
Now you've
Vidal's
demonstrated
the soon trained
a trained artist like me. But you know what? You said you were really fast, okay? And I'm going to be honest, you were quicker than me. But I think I can show you something now where you are not even going to see my hand speed. It's so fast. Do you want to see something that is so fast that human eye and the camera can't detect?
Yes.
You want to see that?
Yes.
Armand, I want you to be my guest. I want you to go around the other side of the table. You can take your own chair because you know this is a budget show. You've got to do everything yourself here. I forgot the makeup, but I'm going to show you something now, all of you. That is, let's clear a bit of space here, okay? I have to focus. As you know, I like to get to the part of the show where I've really got to concentrate. And this is all about speed, okay? Let's move everything. How good is your eyesight? You better say very good if you want your reputation to grow here. How good is your eyesight?
Oh, could do better. No, it's great.
Okay, what I'm going to do, some of you are not going to be able to see this. I don't know if you can. Can you all see this, or
yes,
is it too far away? Okay. All right, we've got 3 boxes of matches here. All be quiet, because I'm going to really focus here. Okay, listen. So we've got matches, empty, and empty. Now, I want you to keep your eye on these 3, and you can all do this. And you've got to see how fast my hands move. And we did this today in rehearsal with Nick, and the director will tell you he couldn't see my hands moving what I was doing. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Do we have to dim the lights and get a bit of atmosphere? Should we get a bit of that
Where's the candles?
music, all that kind of stuff? Okay, you ready? Watch very carefully, okay? Okay, think carefully. Where are the matches? Only one has got matches in it. Which is it? Really? Shake it.
Oh, shit.
Okay? Now, you know where the matches are? Okay?
Oh!
Wait! Wait! Hang on a second.
Oh, man.
Why did you have
You're going to give us a wire.
That was my best trick. Do you know what? On that note, I've got nowhere to go. We better say thank you to Armend the Great for being a great guest.